a minute. Y'all thought I was finished? Hold on, wait a minute. Y'all thought I was finished?
Host Ace with Philly Fan Sports, and this is the Eagles channel. So this year we already kicked off. Our free agency has already started, and of course, a lot of you know, we have signed Saquon Barkley, which is a great pickup for the Eagles, right? Now, is it better than us having Swifty, right? For all the Swifty fans out there, is it better? I believe it is an upgrade, right? But is it an upgrade to where we couldn't have Swift doing the same exact things that Saquon did? I don't believe so. I do believe that we could have done the same exact things with Swifty. Outside of just, the name, I don't think that he has had the career up to this point. He was in Detroit. Of course, he always was kind of dealing with injuries, and this has been his best years with the Eagles. And even if we look at Saquon, right? If you look at Saquon from 2018 when he was drafted by the Giants, you can look at his career up to this point. He really has had 2 great years, and everything else has been plagued by injuries. So even his rookie year, he had 1,300 yards, 5 yards a carry, 11 touchdowns, 91 receptions. Perfect, great year. If you had this production from Saquon every single year, or at least fairly similar to this production, you would be like, okay, we can see why he was drafted where he was drafted at, and he could be one of those running backs where you'd be like, okay, well, you know what? Saquon possibly could change kind of more or less the running back market, but that just has not been the actual situation for Saquon, right? 2018, like I said, that was his best year. 2019, 1,003 yards, 4.6 a carry, 6 touchdowns, 52 receptions. Okay, cool. So you start to see kind of a little bit of the decline in regards to the production already, right? 2020, he had that injury, 19 carries for 34 yards, 1.8 a carry, 0 touchdowns. That was the year that, like I said, he ended up getting injured. The next year, 2021, another injury-plagued year, 162 carries, 593 yards, and only 3.7 yards a carry, 2 touchdowns, 41 receptions, right? So these are the things that's happening with Saquon, with him having these injuries back to back to back, having a injury-plagued career. Now, last year, right? Last year was 2022 was actually a year where, he ended up having a lot of a bounce back year, right? It could have been a contract year, right? Because he did having his 5th year option picked up, but it was a contract year, and he came back with a vengeance, going back to having that 1,300 yards. So he had 295 attempts with 1,312 yards, 4.4 a carry, 10 touchdowns, 57 receptions. So from his rookie year to the 2022 season, those were his 2 best years. And even last year, he only had 247 carries, 962 yards, 3.9 a carry, 6 touchdowns, 41 yards reception. If you just look at everything in a vacuum, you just be like, okay, well, hey, Saquon, just looking at the numbers, he didn't do a great job, right? He wasn't, a top upper echelon running back. If you look at it, everything just kind of more or less in a vacuum. He only had 2 great years with the Giants, right? But we do have to remember this. He played for the Giants, okay? Daniel Jones was his quarterback. Nothing special about Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is literally a poor man's Eli Manning, and Eli Manning isn't really a great quarterback. Everyone's going to say, yeah, he won 2 Super Bowls. Yes, he did, but he literally is an average quarterback. He has like a 500 record his whole entire career outside of just those 2 Super Bowls, right? So if you just look at his career, is Saquon worth the 3-year signed contract that we gave him, $15 million basically a year? For me, I would not want to, but if we can get the 2018 rookie season and the 2022 season prior, would it be worth it for 10 touchdowns and 11 touchdowns for those 2 years with roughly 1,300 yards a carry? I would say yes. And the reason why I would say yes is even though we had Swift, and Swift is a great running back, I feel like, but we just did not utilize him the correct way in this offense last year with the offense that we ran. I really feel like we could have kept Swift and got the same production from Swift, but did everyone respect Swift the same way they respect Saquon? No, they do not. You know what I'm saying? So I do believe with us signing Saquon, is he the missing piece that would get us over the top? I'm not exactly sure about that. Only reason why I say that is I really believe that our defense was the one that let us down all last year. It wasn't really the offense. Our offense was up and down and everything else, but the offense last year actually was a little bit better statistically looking at where we were compared to last year. So I do believe that the defense more or less was the one that was letting us down, right? So what would I grade the Saquon signing? I would actually grade this. I would give it an A-. And I know everything I just said, right? You would think that, me talking about Saquon was a bad thing, but I will give Saquon an A- because I do believe with what we have, with the offense that we have, A.J. Brown, we have Devontae Smith, we have Dallas Goedert, right? We have one of the top O-line, even though the great Kelsey has gone. He has retired. I do believe that, we already have candidates and individuals already there to actually replace him at center. So it's not like we would have a huge drop-off. Now you're, replacing a Pro Bowl Hall of Fame type center, right? And you're always going to have some kind of a drop-off. But are we going to have a major fall off a cliff? I don't believe so. We've already been preparing for this for the last 2 years, 2 seasons already. So will he just move in and do what we need to do in regards to the offensive line? I do believe so. So can Saquon get 15? I want 1,500 yards in regards to rushing. I know that sounds crazy. I know everyone's like, how you going to want 1,500 yards rushing? I believe Saquon with this offense, he hasn't had a 1,000-yard receiver only 1 year in his 2018 season, his rookie season, right? And that was when he had Odell Beckham Jr., and that was so long ago, right? We have 2, not 1, but 2 1,000-yard receivers for the last 2 years, A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. So you can't tell me that, we're going to keep, teams are going to either keep 2 safeties high. If you do that, we're just going to run it with Saquon. If you bring a safety down, now we can take our shots how we want to take them with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. So that's the only reason why I'm giving this an A-. And with our new offensive coordinator as well, with the new scheme and everything else, I do believe Jalen Hurts will be a little bit more under center. So that is a plus for us because we are 99.9% in the shotgun unless we're doing a tush push. Okay, so outside of that, I really do believe that signing Saquon was a big pickup for the Eagles, and everyone's already kind of talking about Saquon and what he's going to do, what he's going to mean for the city, what he's going to mean for his team. So I do agree, and I on the Saquon train. Like I said, I hope that we get the 2018-2022 version and not the every other year version of Saquon with him being injured, right? So the next guy we signed, this has been one of the bigger pickups for the Eagles. And this is a position that we have actually not cared about from the time I've actually been an Eagles fan. We've had Jeremiah Trotter, and we've had, I think, Nigel Bradham has been a good pickup for the Eagles the year that we won the Super Bowl. Those were 2 guys that I really liked in regards to the linebacker position. But Devin White has been one of the best pickups for this team this year. And I know we have a lot of guys we have to kind of go through, but Devin White has been a big pickup. Reason being is just the swag. The confidence. The one thing that the Eagles were lacking last year as a defense, as a whole, as an entire unit, right? We had Jalen Carter. We had, Fletch was still there. We still had BG, right? But none of those guys had the swag that we needed, right? And the swag that Devin White brings to this team, I think, will actually do us wonders. It will do everything that we need done for the defensive side of the ball, right? Because the offense has the swag. The offense has AJ. The offense has Devontae. The offense had Swift, right? Even like I said, he wasn't utilized, I think, the way he should have been. But we have those things. You get what I'm saying? On the offensive side of the ball. We don't have those things on the defensive side of the ball. You want to say Slay. Okay, yeah, Slay is, but that secondary was getting toasted. They were getting the brakes beat off of them. You know what I'm saying? So I do think signing Devin White to this 1-year contract with the Eagles is a huge pickup. That is what the doctor ordered for this team. Signing Zach Braun as well, for the 1-year contract. Big pickup. I'm also signing Oren Burks as well. Big pickup. These were some big pickups in regards to the linebacker room that we needed. And the reason being is because this is what Howie does. Howie will go out there and Howie will sign a linebacker to a 1-year deal. And we haven't really given a whole lot of love to the linebacker room. And of course, you guys want to say, hey, yeah, well, we just, drafted Nakobe Dean, a few years ago. And you are 100% correct. However, Nakobe Dean has not actually panned out to this point because he's been injured. You know what I'm saying? So, like they say, you can't make the club in a tub. And he has been one of those Georgia dogs. But at the same time, you have to be on the field to do what you need to do for this team, right? We can think, hey, he's a great linebacker, he's going to be the future and everything else, but we really do not know, right? The one thing that we do know with Devin White is, with that Super Bowl team that Tampa Bay Bucks had, he was one of those guys on the defensive side. Him and Levante David have been those two guys on that side of the ball that was giving the Eagles hell. Every year we played Tampa Bay, they were giving us hell every single year that he played for Tampa Bay. I don't care what y'all tell me. I know what I've seen. I know what my eyes tell me. He is a guy. He is a tone setter. He is an adjustment guy. Now, we can say in regards to him stopping the run, is he going to be that run stopper, that run stuffer? He isn't one of those thumpers, right? I mean, he can thump, but he's not one of those thumpers where he's just see ball, stop ball every time, right? Where he makes his money is the coverage. We were getting the coverage for the Eagles linebackers last year were atrocious. We literally had to be the 33rd team out of 32. Like, it was that bad. Everyone beat us across the middle. Everyone beat us. Everything in between the hashes and the numbers. Like, we were getting torched across the middle because our linebacker play sucked. Our linebackers didn't get enough depth. Our linebackers, they didn't know how to play certain zones. That could be two things, right? That could be the coaching, which I do believe coaching is a part of it. So I don't want to just make this just strictly about how bad the linebacker play was, right? That was a huge part of it. We went through 2 defensive coordinators in one season. So you're 1,000% right about that, right? But on the other side, it was also the players and the scheme as well. Both of those things went hand in hand. So we got a new scheme. We went to go get the bootleg Vic Fangio with Sean Desai, and even if you want to say Matt Patricia as well. But now we got the guy. We got the guy that this is his shit. He is the godfather of the defense that we tried to run. And now we actually have the guy running that defense, right? So with those linebacker positions, like I said, with Devin White, Burks, as well as Zach Braun, I do believe that this is a upgrade from what we had last year with our linebacker core as well, right? Now let's get to another position. It's a linebacker / edge guy, right? Byron Huff. We just signed him to a 3-year, $51 million deal, and so we also just re-signed Sweaty as well. So the odd man out right now looks like it is going to be Hassan Reddick. I know, and I like Hassan Reddick. I do understand what he means to the team. I do understand what Hassan Reddick has mean to the city of Philadelphia. He single-handedly got us to the Super Bowl against what he did to San Francisco, knocking Purdy out. And he just was a menace that entire game. And I do appreciate him for everything that he has done for the city, but it is only a matter of time until he is gone and he has left the city of Philadelphia, which actually hurts my heart. I get it. I understand it. But Bryce Huff literally is in the same mode of Reddick, right? He is in the same mode because if you look at the contract that he signed, is the same contract basically that Hassan Reddick signed 2 years ago, right? And now he's kind of at the end of the last season on that contract, and this is where he's kind of departing, right? So Howie is trying to find a good pass rusher on a budget. Now, is it a good thing? It has worked out for us to this point, just with us having Hassan Reddick. But will Huff have that same kind of impact that Reddick had for the Eagles, right? Because if you look at it, the price of where Reddick wants to be paid, he wants to be paid roughly within the $20 to $25 million range. They're saying that he wants to be paid $25 million a year. Is he worth $25 million? I believe so, right? Because if you look at his numbers, he's up there with all your top dogs. He's up there with the TJ Watts. He's up there with the Myles Garrett. If you look at his numbers overall, his numbers are up there with those guys. Now, I'm not saying he's going to be number one, right? But he's in the tops for pass rushers, for the edge guys. You know what I'm saying? And so, is he one of those guys? Yes, I do believe that he's one of those guys. But for what we have coming up, having to pay Devontae Smith here shortly, we just signed Sweaty back to a 1-year, $10 million contract this year. So is Huff really going to do what Reddick has done in the past for the Eagles? I do believe he will, but that is something that we have to see going forward this season. You know what I'm saying? And will he get us 10 sacks this year? Can he get us 10 to 15 sacks this year? That is what I'm looking for. Actually, I'm looking between 12 to 15, right? Because he was a part-time rusher and he had the numbers that he had. So I do believe that he can do what we need done here for the Eagles, right? Now, my guy, I'm happy. He should have never left the
Guess
building.
I'm back.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Welcome back.
This guy here, CJ GJ, should have never left last year going to Detroit. It was a video, if you guys have been kind of following me, it was a video I was upset about, I was hurt about, because I really feel like CJ GJ was literally what we needed, what the Eagles team that got us to the Super Bowl, what we had, right? CJ is a guy that really, really, really is a really fiery guy. If you guys know, he be in a lot of fights. He talk a lot of trash, right? But he is what we needed, and with him and Devin White on this defense right now, the spark that those guys are going to bring to this team, the fire that they're going to bring to the defense, because the defense last year, let's just be quite honest, was soft. The defense last year was soft. We really didn't have, like I said, those stumpers. We didn't have those guys talking. We didn't have the swagger. We just didn't have it last year. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, I don't know if it was the guys not believing in what the defense of coordinators were trying to do last year, the scheme that we ran. I don't think that the team really trusted in those guys, right? But CJ GJ going to show you what's happening. He going to be that guy that's going to get everybody together. He's going to get the spark. We had the 6 interceptions just with him by himself 2 years ago, and I do understand he got hurt and everything else. That was 2 years ago. He actually got hurt last year as well, playing with Detroit. But I do believe that he is excited. I do believe that he wanted to never leave Philly, and I do believe that he did receive some bad information from his management team, and a lot of the things that CJ GJ is going to bring going forward with the versatility, with him being a safety, with him knowing how to play the slot, and a lot of the different things, role coverages that he can do as well. I do believe that he is what the doctor ordered for this defense to really try to help us try to get back to where we belong, the Super Bowl, and just him being the presence that he is, the kind of guy that he is, the kind of competitor that he is. I do believe that he will bring this team, get us back to where we need to be in regards to fighting to get back to the Super Bowl, okay? So, next thing is Kenny Pickett, right? A lot of people say, hey, why did you guys go get Kenny Pickett? Why didn't you try to go get Justin Fields? Why didn't you go get Kenny Pickett instead of Justin Fields when you gave up more to go get Kenny Pickett instead of Justin Fields, right? To be honest with you, I really like Kenny Pickett better than Justin Fields as of right now, right? Because the reason being is he still has 2 years on his contract, right, in regards to his rookie contract. That's the first thing, right? Because if you look at Justin Fields only has 1 more year left, and he just would have been a rental. Why would you give up so much for a quarterback that's going to be a starter? He is looking to just be a complete starter. I understand Kenny Pickett wants to be a starter as well, but I do believe with us having Kenny Pickett right now is better than Marcus Mariota right now. I do believe that. I didn't believe in us signing Marcus Mariota, because if Jalen Hurts got hurt last year, we were just in a world of trouble. When Jalen took, like, I think one or two series off last year, dealing with like a little small injury or whatever. He came back in the game. I was like, bro, this is not it. You know what I'm saying? Like, Marcus Mariota, best days were in Tennessee, and God bless him, but this is not the team for you, my guy. And so what is getting Kenny Pickett? Is Kenny Pickett going to cause issues? I don't believe so. I don't believe that Kenny Pickett will cause issues. As being a backup, I do believe that he's going to come here. This was his childhood team. This is still his team that he, really root for. He just ended up going to the other team in PA. But this is the team that he really wanted to play for and play with. And even Howie was actually, went to one of his games to go check him out when he was coming out as well, at Pitt. So will he be the kind of quarterback? Will he be a Gardner Minshew? Because Gardner was even a really good backup quarterback. Gardner was a serviceable quarterback, even though he wasn't a great quarterback. I do believe that with Kenny coming to the Eagles, I do believe that he can be a quarterback for the Eagles, and the Eagles will keep him as a backup quarterback. And I do believe, to be honest with you, his career moving forward, I do believe that he will be a career backup moving forward. And, it is what it is. But that was a good pickup for Kenny Pickett. So I do, think that Kenny Pickett, if I had to give that a grade, I would give that a B+ pick for Kenny Pickett as well. All right. So let's move to Matt Hennessy. All right. So Matt Hennessy we just signed him to a 1-year contract to the Eagles for $2 million. That is just a depth pick. Is Matt Hennessy really a great offensive lineman? He's decent. He's a good pick. He played for Atlanta. But what happens when you go to Stoutland University? You end up automatically going to go get your doctorates in line blocking, in pass rushing, right? I mean, not pass rushing, I'm sorry, in being a lineman, right? So I do believe with him going to Stoutland University, that is a really big pickup for us just by having depth here with the Eagles. And also, just kind of him working in and also playing the center and guard position is big for us as well because we needed depth. We lost a few guys, to a few other teams as well. We also lost Jason Kelsey to retirement as well. So we do need to plug in a few spots and just provide depth for our offensive line as well, right? And also Devontae Parker. It was a good pick. Is he better than some of the other guys that we had, right? Like OZ, I do believe he's better than OZ. I do believe that he's way better than Watkins as well, right? Like he was just a speed guy that couldn't catch. He never fought for 50-50 balls. He just was not a really good wide receiver. Now, are we going to receive the Miami Dolphins version of Devontae Parker? I don't believe so. I do believe that he's going to be just a slot guy. And it was a good pickup for the $1.2 million that we are going to pay him as well. And I do really like, in regards to us picking him up, he's more of an established wide receiver. He does understand how to play the position. Is he going to be a Hall of Famer? Of course not, right? But the deal that we got him for with paying him $1.2 and New England has to pay him the rest of his $4.7 million this year is A+. Thank you, Howie. Thank you for this pickup because is he going to be is he better than Julio right now? I do believe so, right? And I love Julio. Julio is one of my favorite Hall of Famer, first ballot, nothing else to talk about. Is Julio that guy? Yes, Julio is. Back then. Is Julio that guy now? Not. I do believe that Devontae is better than Julio right now. And like I said, he just played for New England. And he does have a little bit more work to do here with the Eagles. But do we expect him to catch the ball 80 times this year? No. Maybe 40 times, if that. Maybe 50. I doubt that. But we just need somebody that's competent in that wide receiver 3 spot in the slot. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of do work. So overall, up to this point, do I trust in our team in regards to the free agency that we have? I do feel like this team is starting to kind of round out a little bit, and we haven't even talked about the draft that's coming up here in roughly like 2 to 3 weeks. So we're definitely going to cover the draft, and we're going to talk about some of the draft guys that I would like to draft prior before we actually have the draft, just so you guys kind of see what my thoughts are. But Anyhow, hey man, thank you guys so much for joining. Thank you guys so much for coming here with me. Just kind of go over the free agency that we currently are going through right now. The guys that were signed, I do see that we did sign a few other guys. I'll have that in the next video. But hey, thank you guys for joining Philly Fan Sports. I'm your host Ace, and peace out.